All right, time now for joining us Interactive and for Aquarius Singers. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Israel.
That smile, you still have it.
Yeah, we thank God for that. Unfortunately, Miss G is not here, but I have a comment for her. Maybe you could give it to her.
Really?
Yes, this one says, tell Miss G I'm hosting her in Takoradi this weekend, so she should get in touch.
I'll tell her.
Please add your name in. Yeah, just add your name. We know we're in
the
Takoradi.
Number is there.
Please add your name. Yeah. Number is
but we have to
there.
be sure she's safe.
But you said you would talk, you and her would talk. I'm sure she'll be fine. So anyway.
We'll see.
All right. Now, we are still talking the judicial corruption scandal, and boxer Bukom Banku has quite a bit to say. Traditional priest Nana Kweku Bonsam takes the wheels and interviews one of his own, and it may be a matter of safeguarding your identity or pride. But do you think your name can affect your love life? Israel, do you? Can your name affect your love life?
Yes, it can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Power in the name.
Yes, power in the name, right? We'll talk about that and other things. You can get interactive with us via Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. I'll fill you in on how, but remember the show is brought to you by Airtel, which offers you more talk, longer text, and more internet browsing with its amazing 2-match packs. All you have to do is dial *202# to enjoy.
Joy News Interactive is brought to you by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thanks for staying. Please join us via all our social media platforms. We're on facebook.com/Joy News on TV. It's the same name on Twitter at Joy News on TV, #Joy News Prime. Alternatively, you can send us an email. It's joynewsim@multitvworld.com. You can also send your messages via WhatsApp. The number is 05-608-00000. And I'll share your comments with the rest of the world. Now, let's start with comments on labor issues. So the government has announced a 10% pay rise in 3 months. That's at the beginning of 2016. The minimum wage will now be 8 cedis instead of the current 7 cedis. But our Facebook commenters are not so impressed with that. Israel, I'm going to go and take the comments. The story is on myjoyonline.com. This one is from Snow Ebo Newman. He says, don't be deceived. Minimum wage rise doesn't mean all salaries are going to be increased. It's only those at the bottom that will be affected by such increment. And this one from Lottie Jones.
I'd like to
talk
disagree
to him. Okay.
With Snow Ebo Newman. Thing is, yes, it's usually targeted at those with a minimum salaries. But employers a lot of the time will look at it and say, okay, if it's going up by 10%, it usually tends to be indicative for a lot of employers in the private sector.
So then there might be an upward review of salaries.
Yeah, there might
be. Lottie Jones is talking about strike, and he says without strike, workers won't be paid their salaries. What employment ministry we have as a country? And he's saying shame onto you, Mr. Minister. Okay. Emmanuel Otri says, what about nurses and midwives? Those salary arrears have not been paid for the past 18 months. Mr. Minister, you can't play with our integrity. Don't wait for any harm to be caused before you start acting. How can we work and not be paid for the work done? God is watching you and your followers. I'll take Francis Konedu Isco. He says, does that mean there's going to be an increase in salary for all workers?
Nope.
And this one is from Kwame Wanda. He says it's good news. Anthony Kusi Edu says 2016 election. D. Don says it's meager with the potential over 100% increase in utility tariffs, fuel price increase, among others. And this one is from Nyaba Joseph, who is saying since when? Well, from January 2016. Emmanuel Boyson is saying the politicians are taking the working force for granted. How 10% by the end of the year fuel goes up over that percentage? And that's from Emmanuel Boyson, who thinks the increment is a John increment.
Whatever that is.
Well, I have some comments coming through on WhatsApp. This one says, Israel, I never knew you were such a funny person. He totally made me fall in love with Joy News Prime, and I have become addicted. I love where you acted like Ejako. Next time, act like Lil Wayne or Kweku Mbenu. And that's from Freeman Nklo Agogo. Actually, you got us laughing in the newsroom. I mean,
I'll try.
The other guy was like, okay. And then when you came, and well, everyone was
I'll try.
Yeah, so don't worry, Freeman. There's more of that from Israel. This one says, it's about time government of Ghana becomes serious with workers. And this was from Oscar, who's watching the show in Mampong. This one says, good evening, Israel and Ifa. You guys are looking good. Thank you, David Mensah, watching the show in Koforidia. And this one is from Papanko in Tamale. He says, how can 10% he says 10% pay rise, it won't help the Ghanaian worker simply because utility prices will be increased astronomically. And how can 10% be good news to the impoverished Ghanaian worker? And that's from Papanko in Tamale. And this one is from Basharat in Tumu. He says, Ghana, how can you ask workers to go back to work while you yourself will not work? Because you are to ensure all workers receive what is due them. So those are some WhatsApp comments. Anything on Twitter, Israel?
No. Okay, what I have on Twitter has to do with the fact that Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola and McDonald's are saying that President Seblata, FIFA President Seblata should step down immediately, and it's getting quite some traction. So David Odro says, what does Coca-Cola know that we don't know? He's asking that question, and says he continues to boom. And so it's actually from Reuters. Says McDonald's calls for FIFA President Seblata to step down immediately. And then great advice from legend Azuma Nelson. Most students depend on off-deck, thereby misbehaving anyhow whilst in school. And then there's one other that has to do with the boy who had his fingers burned. So, the story about the toddler with burned fingers is really sad. God bless the doctors around him, and I pray he gets well fast. That's from Nambe Patrick.
Okay, he sent us the same message on WhatsApp as well. So your comment has been read on Twitter. Now, judicial corruption, I can safely say that's one of the top of mind issues for Ghanaians right now. Well, your friend Israel Bukom Banku, one of your many friends, well, Bukom Banku happened to be at Multimedia and decided to tell us what he thinks about the documentary that has a lot of people losing confidence in the judiciary.
Anas is not only one like you.
How do you know?
I tell you, my friend. I don't know Anas. If you're Anas, I don't know. If you're Anas, I don't know. But Anas is the pretty. It's a team. I tell you, it's not the only person. Anas is a team.
Okay, so what do you think about what he's doing? The work he's doing?
It's good work. It's bad because both way it's good work. It's like the same thing. If the president are doing mistake, it's not fine. Everybody do mistake in the nation. When the judges do mistake, let's forgive us because it's our Ghanaian judges. Don't disgrace the judges. I'm not with you. It's me. I talk my sensibility. I'm a judge say. It's like be me myself. Let's forget the judges because it's our Ghanaian judges. If you do the mistake, yes, forgive us.
Israel, now Bukom be judge. He said, just forgive us.
I'm sure he meant just forgive them. That's probably what he wanted to say. But for somebody who beat up his teacher in school,
talking about beating up his teacher, a lot of people were not amused, but they were laughing, but they were not too amused when we posted this video up on Facebook, and people were like, no wonder he beat up his teacher in school. Let me read some of them. This one is from Samuel Kobe, who is laughing and said, Banku, you are funny. Masre-san. And Yausu Jenfi is laughing as well. He says, it's true, Banku. Anas is not only one person. Enkum Joseph says, oh, that's why you beat people always and walk free because of your bribe doing. What do you call bribe? Right.
Bribe. Bribe.
Okay. Kwame Dako says, not serious. And Kev Daku can't stop laughing. And Awudi Kelly Manuel is asking whether we are sure our so-called Bukom Banku is making sense or he is just joking. And this one is from Haji Traore. He says, let's forgive us Banku. Where did he go to school? Abu Sadiq said, if your family is one of them, don't diff. I don't really
his
get
message
that.
Incomplete.
Yeah,
His message.
and this one is saying, Muhammad Abdullah says, a living dinosaur. He couldn't complete school because he beat up his mentor, into brackets, teacher. So, yeah, he beat up his teacher.
But of course, let me just send a message out there. Bukom Banku, we're just kidding. So please don't come in here and want to beat us up. But you know he's done that before. I mean,
you know, when he came in this afternoon, right, and he was looking for one of the news editors, Martha, and he came with his squad, and we're like, hey, what's going on? And then he was like, I'm looking for Martha. And I was like, oh, okay, we are not sure she's around. Let me go and check. And Martha was like, yeah, she's expecting Banku. So
oh, okay.
Was like, okay, but
okay.
otherwise, I was
like, one time he stormed multimedia. He wanted to beat up one of our presenters, Songo, Fire for Fire, because of some things he had said, and it was a whole spectacle. So I mean,
imagine.
so Bukom, I mean, we're just playing.
We're cool,
yeah.
Right? We're cool. We're cool. I hope we're cool. Okay, let me go on to WhatsApp. This one is from Papa Koitamale. He says, they can't be forgiven just like that because they, the justices, did they did crimes against humanity. This one is saying that, please, when are you going to show this judicial scandal on air for us? This one is from Edward Domahinko. This one says, seriously, when the government renegates a responsibility, she fakes concerns. But when civil and public servants threaten to go on strike over unfulfilled agreements on the part of government functionaries cry foul and vomit sanctions. That's abuse of power. And this one is coming in from Uncle John. This one is a message from Abu. He says, I guess Bukom Banku has been getting some light soup. He is saying, just forgive us. If you beat your teacher, that is the English you will speak. And this one is from Abu, laughing at that. And this one just says, Bukom Banku that. And then I have, lots of comments coming in. Fusaina says, just wondering who gave birth to this man. Okay, Fusaina. And this one is from, can you believe someone is WhatsApp calling us right now on air? Okay, Putieru Prosper from Zwarungu says, Anas left Banku out of the investigation because Banku is just confessing that. Anas must be investigated as to why he left Banku out. So those are some of your very interesting comments there on WhatsApp, and we took your Facebook comments as well. Now, let's move on to other issues. And 2 people have died protesting the presence of a fetish priest in Akoko. Now, one, Nana Saka, the fetish priest, is accused of using human sacrifice for rituals. This happened on Tuesday, and we've been following the story over the past few days. Now, today on Pulse, we wanted some more clarification on issues dealing with traditionalists. And another one of Israel's friends, Nana Kweku Bonsam, traditional priest, came to studio to tell us more. And he also questioned the fetish priest Akoko, of Akoko rather, Nana Saka.
If, to be frank speaking, if it must be good, you should stay away from that town and find another town whereby people understand you. Because once this incident has come, it's going to be something that some times ago when you are maybe you are driving outside. If those people who their people get maybe would their people maybe pass away, would their people get hurt, immediately they see your face and then yes. So if you in my advice, if you stay away from that town and find different place, that town will be much better.
All right, let's actually get the actual conversation, what we want to talk about on the show. We'll go to Facebook and let's listen to Nana Kweku Bonsam.
Everybody have the way he's doing his work, but I didn't attend his shrine before.
Yeah.
If I attend his shrine and then immediately ended, I can say this is the work that he do. This is the work that he do.
You mean that if you should go to his shrine today, you would know whether or not his work is it involves human sacrifice?
Yes.
How will
Yes,
you
of
know?
course. I'm a spiritualist. I'm professional spiritualist. I've done this way for a long time.
Okay.
You know, my first time interview is Israeli who is interviewing me. Now today I met Israel down there. He said, "Hey, Mr. Man," I say, "Yeah." Before I can't speak English, by now I'm good in English.
Right.
But because because you know the way you speak English, like if we take you to America as a news broadcaster, you can speak.
Right.
So I know the work well,
Okay.
and then I know the spirit, the kofi that I'm holding. That if I enter there and there is maybe mistake and he do any wrong thing, I can maybe tell that this
doing it
what
wrong.
he's doing is wrong thing.
Can you
And what-
find out from him? Can you speaking to him? We have him on the telephone line now. Can you speak to him and find out from him whether he's done anything wrong? You can address him. Nana
Yeah,
Saka. You
Nana-
can hear Nana Kokubonsam right now. Okay, so he wants to interact with you.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, so hold on for him. So
Yeah.
now you can talk to him now.
Yeah, Nana, how are you?
Very well, Nana.
How is everything?
Everything is cool. How is my people? How is
Yeah,
my spirit
everybody's
and my
okay.
voice?
Nana, you heard this news about the incident that is happening over there.
Yes.
That some people are saying that you are using human being to do a lot of rituals and sacrifices. And then I want to find out, is it true or not, in the name of your gods? That's how I want to ask you.
Oh yeah, Nana, thank you very much for asking this question. You know me. Even Ghana psychic, our coach of ethics, the coach of ethics, before they give you the license.
Nana Saka, hold on. Nana Saka, listen. I'm just asking you a question. Don't go to the Ghana psychic. Ask me straight away, yes or no. When you go to the Ghana psychic, no, everybody knows Ghana psychic.
He got him. He was Nana Saka was trying to dodge the question. You know, it was like, and he's like, no. You just answer yes or no. Finish.
He probably wants to take over Gifty's job.
I know, right? He probably should.
No, but I'm impressed with the English, his command of the English. Over
I
the
was
English.
so
He hasn't
impressed.
gotten there yet, but he's impressive, right? He's a whole lot better than Bukom Banku.
He mentioned you twice in the interviews, Joe.
Yeah, and I recall having that interview with him, and he actually charmed and got money, made money straight on the set when we were having that conversation.
Well, a lot of people have been commenting on this video, and Haj Atik Idris, I'll start with you. He says Nana Kwekubonsam got better interviewing skills and speaks better English than some of our journalists in the Ghanaian media. Ray Enyaminko says, wow, Nana is very intelligent. Kwame Pablo says, thank you, Nana Kweku. God bless you. And Silk Asamoah says, unprecedented English interview between two fetish priests. Wow, Kweku Bonsam should consider being a fetish journalist. So
that's the nicest of the comments that I've got.
I think he should. You know, he's trying to be a rapper now. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, maybe he should consider broadcasting.
I think he could.
He could.
Yeah.
He could. Well, me, I was impressed with the interview, so I just had to take a selfie with him. But we'll take some more of your comments on.
Were you not scared?
That's a selfie. I was a little like, okay. I sat there and I listened to him for the number of minutes he spoke with Gifty, and I just was like, I have to go and take a selfie.
No, I think you're, building a track record of taking selfies first with the president.
Yeah.
There was one with the president, and now with the fetish priest. Who's next? The Pope.
Yeah, why not? Anyway, we have more Join News Interactive right after this. Thanks for staying. Now, before we move on, I'd like to just share this comment coming from Swagger, watching the show in Akwemufie. He captioned the selfie I took with Nana Kwekubonsam. He says, "Beauty and the Beast, best selfie ever." Okay, now let's move on. And I have a question for you, Israel. My husband's name, to take or not to take?
To take.
Yeah, well, it's a title of one of our producers' blogs, Abla de Souza Francisca. Okay, and it was a blog on whether a man will consider taking his wife's maiden name. You know, she attended a family meeting, and the people at the meeting were discussing and decided that, hey, they want their family name to go far. So one of the requirements in the list was that the men should take.
Really?
Yes, and this is the blog. She actually used my husband and me for the caption picture. But here it is. Before purchasing the underlisted as a bride price, sign the attached undertaking that our daughter will maintain our family name. Okay, so he has to sign that the daughter will maintain their family name, and then of course they want 3 inverters.
Is this for real?
A 2-bedroom
is this for
apartment.
3 inverters.
It's for real.
2 for father's house, 1 for uncle.
Yes, it's for real. Yeah.
Wow.
It's for real. So, well, speaking about that, that's not the conversation we're actually trying to have. Now, we found an article in the Weekend Finder which suggests that apart from wealth and physical attributes, a man's marriage proposal is more likely to be successful if he has an attractive name. We went out there to find out what you think.
Names means nothing. A name can sound so nicely, but when you get closer to the person, you realize the person is not as you think. So I don't think name should be a main reason to accept a proposal.
There are other factors that are taken into consideration before a woman actually chooses a spouse to settle with for life. And a man's name could play a vital role, but then there are other things as well, so I don't subscribe.
Yeah, so those are what some ladies said out there on the streets, and that's it for the interactive segment on Joy News Prime. It's brought to you by Airtel.